jam-packed episode of Lunes Live. Your favorite Compas got you covered with all of our NFL Week 6 takes. A lot of stuff going on around the NFL. Are Doug Peterson and Mike McCarthy on the hottest seats? Chargers get a win for the first time in Denver since 2018. Are the Lions the best team in football? A lot of stuff to get into, but all right, Gilberto, don't you have an engagement question for our viewers and or listeners?
Yeah, mental note. I want to come back to that statement about the Lions being the best team in the NFC. Somebody is trying to twist my words for a story that I wrote because Vikings fans don't like me, but we'll get back to it. But for the engagement question of the week, hopefully Charger fans are nicer to me today after a victory. We'll see. Engagement question of the week. I think it's which head coach? There you go. Which head coach? Why can't I say that? Which head coach has the hottest seat in the NFL? Doug Peterson. Should I put Nick Sirianni in there? Maybe. Mike McCarthy.
After you got yelled at fans and everything?
I know. Mike McCarthy, Doug Peterson, Robert Sala's already all the way out. And who am I missing? Somebody else, right?
Mike McCarthy. Oh, Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson, Mike McCarthy. I'm going to throw in Nick Sirianni. And then obviously somebody else I wanted to throw in there. But whatever. Let me know who you think has the hottest seat in the NFL right now. Sure, why not? I want to see something surprising. We saw Robert Saleh get fired a week ago. How about something else a little more surprising? But I do have words about Nick Sirianni. I want people to chill out a bit on Nick Sirianni. So I'm not saying he's going to be on the hot or he's on my hot seat, but let me know if he should be in Philadelphia's hot seat. But that is the engagement question of the week.
All right, let's go with the intro.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. So where's Compas?
Yeah, we are.
There you go. Hey.
There you go. Okay, all right. We got proof right there.
Some guy that seems like he's asleep. Need you to wake up, Gilbert. There's a lot of energy.
Come on, Gilbert. Let's go.
Come on. Dan and Dago is at Moe's.
I'll show you. I got it right.
Okay, that's it. You guys, I am done with mine, but that's couldn't get better than a 2026 6th-round pick swap for a 7th-rounder. So
freaking love you, Chad.
Hey, dude. Cool, man.
Compas on the beat, man. Derwin James signing off, man. Watch Compas on the beat, man.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute, maybe because we didn't record multiple shows last week. You were covering baseball. I was there. My Dodgers, who I only care about them in October, they handled business and brought Fernando back to Compas on the beat. I'm sure you wanted to see a little more baseball, but good to have you back. And for me, same old. You know, having some a lot of hot takes, a lot of bad takes, and maybe some good takes every now and then.
Yeah, no, definitely interesting. You know what's funny? Yesterday on What's Up Bolts, somebody gave me a shout out, and he's like, honestly, I know that's not your first sport. I'm sure you weren't 100% like into it, but I honestly loved reading your stuff, and I hope you'll consider doing more baseball. I think I think it was a lot of fun to watch you do it, and I was like, oh, I appreciate that. That was honestly pretty cool to see. So I was very excited about that. It was really nice to hear somebody say it. So.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fun. I had never done it before. It was definitely interesting to see what baseball is all about, and I definitely had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, no, it's always good to hear some positive feedback. I get it both ways, negative and positive, but it's always good to see, hey, you know what? I appreciate what you're doing in that coverage that you're doing, definitely when you write like a story that's really long and you've been doing a bunch of reporting and you feel like nobody cares because like. You know, I'm glad that we don't care about, well, at least I don't. I don't know how people feel, but I don't care about X or Twitter. And I felt like back in the day, if you didn't get retweets or likes or people quote tweeting, it felt like nobody was reading your story. But that's not really how the world works. A lot of people get their media from different ways, and it's good to hear about that when people are reading, or if you get a nice email or a nice comment or things like that.
Yeah, no, it was really nice to see that. But you didn't watch What's Up Bolts, did you, last night?
I did not. I saw you guys went live, but I think it was during the Bengals in the Giants game, which I should have watched because Giants Bengals was atrocious. That was a terrible watch, by the way.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. I ended up I started watching the Little Giants. That's how I'd rather watch that.
That was
I
better.
have something for you though. It was pretty funny. Watch this.
There's out of 6 reporters, only one went with the Broncos. So who do you think it was? Was it Gilberto? Where is this?
Oh,
Up here at
hold
the
on.
top.
Zoom in. I don't have my.
Yeah,
I don't have my.
let's wait for him
What
to
an
process
asshole.
what he's looking
You see
at.
what I have to deal with on this program?
And look what he went
Wow.
with earlier.
He went with the Titans cursed. Oh my God, with the Washington Commanders cursed. Oh, and then he likes picking favorites. That's what he likes to
Get the
do.
hell out of here, Dan. If you look at that freaking graphic, I had the most upset. So don't offend me with having a favorite here. And yeah, I was the only one to take the Broncos there, and the Chargers dominated. I'm gonna say good things about them, and that's a little reminder. I know some people kind of take it to heart when I criticize the Chargers, but I'm just trying to keep it real. I've been honest the whole time, saying like I want to see more before I believe it. I'm slower to get there, and it's become like this kind of narrative where I hate the Chargers. I don't hate them. I like to see them succeed. I'm not a fan of any team. I like to just have hot takes, and I like to be right about my takes. And when I'm wrong, I will definitely admit it. I was dead wrong. I like that the Chargers finally unleashed Justin Herbert. But before we get to the Chargers, yes, I'm glad you showed Dan about what I do at SI.com. He thinks I don't do anything for a living. I just kind of wait around to record. But to kind of summarize Week 6 in the NFL, I hated Week 6. There was like no upsets. I picked 5 upsets, which is a little bit on my side. But the only if the only upset that occurred so far, Fernando, is the Colts beating the Titans. Everything else was favorites winning, dominating, winning by 10. And maybe the NFL is not that chaotic. It's predictable when you think about it. When you look at the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Texans being in first place, you look at the Lions flexing their muscle. The 49ers are back on track. What happened to all my underdogs and my surprise stories? But hey, one surprise story is those LA Chargers being 3-2.
Yeah, they ended up beating the Denver Broncos. It got close at the end. Once Christian Fulton went down, the Chargers cornerback, I think they went more prevent defense because they had 2 rookie corners out there, and they tried to play it safe, but it kind of cost them, and they almost the Broncos almost came back. Bo Nix kind of turned it on. He only had like 37 passing yards in the first 3 quarters, and he ended up kind of going off at the end, but. It is a little worrisome about the whole Christian Fulton thing because I just saw that the Chargers worked out Eli Apple and Jerry Jacobs cornerbacks. So a little worrisome because they already have Asante Samuel Jr. out and they have him. But like you said, Justin Herbert did get unleashed in the first quarter or in the first half. He was 21 of 34, 237, 1 touchdown. That touchdown came on a wheel route to Kimani Vidal, who Charger fans have been pounding the table for.
I was going to say, fantasy football people really wanted Kimani Vidal to be a thing.
Yeah. And he did first touchdown, so that was good. J.K. Dobbins, 25 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. Chargers try to run the ball different ways using Vidal, using Darius Davis. Haskins even got a couple of touches. So they really try to do a lot of different things. My only concern with them is that they couldn't put it together for all 4 quarters. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that has me a little bit worried about.
Yeah, Athir giving us money already because I was wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you, Athir. Shout out to you. I love being wrong when I get paid for it too. Thank you, Athir.
I appreciate you, Athir. You're awesome. But yeah, it was one of those things where it is a little worrisome that the Chargers can't put it together for all 4 quarters. But we'll see what happens. I think they're slowly starting to kind of get what they need to do. They had a good game plan going in. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. So their defense with Jesse Minter is just they really are ridiculous. It's crazy to see just how good they've gotten so far.
Yeah, and before I get my takeaway, Delbert and Manuel, we see your Lions comments there. We're gonna get to it in a bit. We're gonna discuss some Lions. Not too long from now, we'll get to the local team first, but we'll get to those. And shout out to you, Jorge. I see your comment too as well. But yeah, I think the Jesse Minter defense, it's already the real deal to me. I know it's still October, but 5 games in after a bye week, playing that well. And I think Athir was bringing this up about Mike McDonald, the Seahawks coach, and and Jesse Minter. Like, who's better? Which is kind of a unique question, but like, the way I phrased it was, well, Jesse Minter doesn't have a lot of talent. Yeah, you could have your Khalil Mack, your Derwin James, and Joey Bosa, but to get this team to play collectively as one unit, it definitely goes a long way. So maybe you could sustain injuries like the one you mentioned with Christian Fulton there. But I think Minter's a good DC, and it says a lot too, Fernando. And that was very briefly, but when Jim Harbaugh exited, Jesse Minter was the one in charge. So I think that says a lot about him and where he thinks his future is going to go. He's one of the rising DCs in the NFL. And then this is where I kind of become a heel a little bit. Where are all the people talking crap about Greg Roman? I like that game plan. They were pushing the ball down the field early on with Justin Herbert. He finally threw more than 30 passes in the game. And the way I'll say this, Fernando, that I liked about this, it's okay to have more of a running game. It's okay to have a balanced attack. But how about you start with the pass to establish the run? How about that? When your quarterback is a star quarterback making $50 million per year, how about you go that way? Push the ball to Thad McConkey, Quentin Johnson, and then J.K. Dobbins gets involved. So I like that game plan all around. Roman, Minter, and it's good to see that Harbaugh was okay after that brief exit there.
They gave you have to give Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnston a lot of credit because both of them went out multiple times and they came back in and they were warriors yesterday and they knew that the Chargers didn't dress Brendan Rice, so they were down on receivers and there was a lot of shifting in the first half. Rashawn Slater goes out, Trey Pipkins goes out. They were mixing and matching and they still ended up playing well. So give credit to them. What's funny? This is exactly what Dan and Diego was saying at the end of the third quarter. I'm already nervous that we're going to lose Jesse Minter, and I started laughing. I'm like, you have to calm down. Maybe they give him an extension and they make him the highest paid DC, and he decides to stay or do something like that because I'm sure Harbaugh's going to want to keep him, and I'm sure he wants to stay with Harbaugh. I mean, after 1 year in the NFL, do you really want to take off? But we'll see what happens in that aspect. But did you see the Cortland Sutton touchdown?
I did. Where he caught it. I thought maybe it wouldn't be a touchdown, but they ruled it, and I kind of stopped caring about that game. But was it a touchdown? I guess if you took
no,
it didn't look like it, right?
No, there's a snapshot on the other side where you could see him like the ball's underneath his hand and he's kind of dragging it.
It felt very quick to get that a touchdown. I was very confused about it.
Yeah, I thought they were going to give it a little bit more time and they were going to review it for a lot longer. But I think because of the interest, they might have given him the touchdown. Like, hey, let's just keep on going and let's see what happened in this game. But I thought this was pretty bad. Uncle Jam's Army.
It was me. It was me. It was a reverse jinx. How about that? All right, you guys are welcome.
All right, let's move on now to. By the way, the whole Jim Harbaugh thing that was crazy for him to leave and have all that stuff. And it's funny because he said that he had arrhythmia. He had an episode back in 2012 on a Monday night game against
I saw that. I looked it up.
Bears. Yeah. And he walked off and all this stuff happened too. And I'm like, dang, that's rough. Like that to deal with something like that. And then I guess he said this morning that he has a heart monitor that he's going to be having to wear for the next 2 weeks. So I'm sure on next Monday night, that heart monitor is going to be freaking racing up and down because of the game.
Yeah.
So
prime time Jim Harbaugh. I like that for next week.
Yeah. That's his first primetime game since being back. So
I kind of got really worried when John Harbaugh, the Ravens coach, was like,
when they took him off,
like, hey, get off the podium, go figure out what's going on with your brother. Which is it's good on Ravens PR because you just never know. That's kind of a scary situation. And obviously John knows his brother very well. He knows what's going on with him. So I got a little worried, but it sounds like it's something he's been dealing with for a while, and it's a good thing there wasn't anything worse than that.
Jim said that he's 2-0 with arrhythmia, and so yeah.
All right, Jim.
Like, I guess he said today during his press conference that his heart would have to stop working for him to, because they asked him, are you thinking about taking time off? He's like, my heart would have to stop for me to like take time off. I was like, damn.
All right, he's dedicated, man. But
somebody asked him during the press conference yesterday, hey, do you remember what happened with Gary Kubiak? I'm like, why are you bringing that up? Like, I get it, but I don't know, just a little weird.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad he's doing okay. And sometimes it's okay to kind of make jokes to put people at ease around you because people are worried. So
Yeah.
I get that. But let me be brief here with the Rams, Fernando.
Yeah,
Then we
yeah,
move
yeah.
on. Obviously, the Rams were in a bye week, but they faced the Raiders. The Raiders look terrible. For speaking of SI riders like myself, who chose the Raiders to go to the playoffs, that's not looking good. They look terrible. But the Rams and the Raiders playing in a desperation game. Check out House of Horns on Wednesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Victor and myself will break down that matchup there. So not too much to talk about the Rams because they're coming off a bye week, but we'll discuss Cooper Kupp possibly being back and then that matchup with the Raiders. Geez, are terrible. But go ahead, Fernando.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. By the way, Thursday, what's up, Bull? 6:45. Dan and I have a special guest. You aren't gonna want to miss it. He said, yeah. He said the only reason why he was jumping on is because Dan's on there. So it'll definitely be a lot of fun to have this guest jump on with us.
I gotta
it's
watch
always a
it.
fun time.
It's Chargers versus my other surprise team that's not doing so well, the Arizona Cardinals. Wow.
God, they got beat up yesterday.
Yeah, they're pretty
have
bad.
Raiders. That's gonna be a terrible game. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? You can go first.
Yeah, okay. I'll go first here, and I kind of have like I'll sneak in a second take. I know people won't like that here, but the first one for me is chill out on Nick Sirianni, and I don't know. I don't like to go with this narrative. People are soft or sensitive, and I'm like, I get it. You don't call out your own fan base. You don't talk trash to your own fans, but like, if there's one fan base that could take it and talk trash with the head coach, it's the damn Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, like they're the most rowdiest fans in the NFL, and they know it and they love it and they embrace it. So it's all about what have you done for me lately? Sure. So in that moment, Nick Sirianni won the damn game. I get it. The Browns stink. But for the whole game here and fire Nick Sirianni, like you want to turn around and say, look what I did and beat this team. You're 3-2. Now AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, they're back now. Let me see, or let me show you what I could do with this healthy roster of wide receivers, and you're going to regret eating your words. What's wrong with that? Just having some trash talking. I did not like Fernando. They had apologized today saying I went too far. Come on, take your victory lap, Sirianni. And then once you keep winning more games, no one's going to give a crap about a week 6 like shouting match from the stands. Like I don't even like who knows what he said. Maybe nobody caught the actual microphone. Maybe he said nothing really dumb. Maybe more like
It'll come out next week.
If he didn't say anything really like dumb and just said, "Hey, look at me now," that's fine. I'm okay with that. I get it. With when it comes to fan bases, you could talk trash to Eagles fans, and you know what? They pay their money to go see this team do well, and they haven't done well since 10-1 last year. They fell apart, but it wasn't that long ago they went to the Super Bowl. It wasn't that long ago they were 10-1. So it's not like the worst organization like the Browns. Oh my, the Browns are just in a terrible situation. It's not the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not even the Dallas Cowboys. Like, can you ease up on the Eagles, who are half a game behind the Commanders and NFC East? So chill out on Sirianni. Can we just see how the season develops? And talk your trash, Sirianni. Don't come back and say I'm sorry and you're disappointed. One thing I didn't like though, before I get to Jorge's comment, he brought his kids to the podium.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Like if I'm a reporter, I want to go ask Sirianni, what the heck happened, Sirianni? Why did your team almost blow it to the Browns? And it's like, oh, your kids was there. I didn't like that one. But I just think Sirianni kind of gets, I don't want to say unfair treatment, but it's like, hey, let it go both ways. You could criticize him on the talk radio shows. Let him talk trash too when he wins a game. But Jorge is saying, birds of the same feather flock together. Gilberto, yeah, okay, I'm not an Eagles fan or supporter, but yeah, I am a heel talker like Nick Sirianni. Yeah, I don't know what that one means, but not for me.
Because he put special guest and then he put Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I will probably try to be on the show just to see everything's okay between you and the former president.
He went on buzzing with the boys, so I mean, Gilberto and I could probably pull that one off.
Wait, hold on, let me give you one. Let me give you one more. This is one where people won't like, but I didn't like this week. It was just kind of predictable, boring outcomes, and then when you kind of after the dust settles of the outcomes, it kind of feels like this is really what the NFL is, and especially in the AFC. And the Texans and the Ravens and the Chiefs seem to be a level above the rest. And I'm like, we kind of saw that last year, so. I'm not trying to criticize the Chargers. I have an impressive victory, but the Chargers, from all the wildcard teams, they probably the one that have the best chance to make some noise. But I don't like the Steelers. I don't really care for the Colts right now. We'll see what the Jets do tonight. The Broncos, get out of here. That was pathetic in Denver. So it just seems like there's a big tier. Maybe it's the Chiefs and then the Texans and then the Ravens. I like the Ravens a lot, Fernando. We're going to ask each other that question later on, but it just seems like it's kind of
You like the Ravens?
I do because they just seem a little different than years past. I think it's a more Derrick Henry factor for me. I know Lamar Jackson has a question marks, but hey, you could be right on your on being kind of hesitant because Lamar Jackson, we've seen the movie before, right? Like he kind of usually has bad performances in the playoffs. But I like something about Derrick Henry, but it just still feels like the same 3-4 teams. I won't even put Buffalo in there. We'll see what he do
No.
tonight. But the AFC kind of seems like the same thing. Whereas the NFC, you got the Commanders, of maybe the Falcons. Who else am I missing? Oh, the Packers, the Bears. Those Bears, Fernando. The Lions, the 49ers. There's like probably like 6 or 7 teams could actually compete in the NFC.
I should do that as my thing. Don't get excited about the Bears yet. They haven't beaten anybody of substance.
You could have 2, like I had 2 right now.
I'm gonna go with McCarthy and Peterson seats are scorching hot right now, dude. You've had the last 4 home games that you've had. If you're the Cowboys, you've gotten blown out, except for the one against the Baltimore Ravens. But that one, you were getting blown out, and then you came back at the end to make it look a lot closer than what it was. But I don't like. I think I'm surprised that Peterson still has a job. Could we see Mike McCoy as the interim head coach? That's what I was laughing at yesterday. But yeah,
supposedly Khan still supports Peterson, but I don't know if I believe that.
I don't know either. But if they lose to the Patriots on Sunday, there's no way you can keep them. Like if Drake May comes out and throws and beats you, like there's no way. Like then especially with the Cowboys, like you just like. You have a bye week, and then guess who you have coming out of it? San Francisco.
Dude, look at their schedule. They have San Francisco, Atlanta, Commanders, Eagles, and the Texans. That's 5 games they could probably maybe lose.
No, that's going to be terrible. So I just think both of their seats are scorching hot, and they need to look at their options because I don't think either one of these guys is going to make it through the season if they continue. All right, Gilbert. The Ravens defeat the Commanders 30-23. They extended their win streak to 4 games as the offense continued to excel. What was your takeaway? Are they the best challenger to dethrone the Chiefs in the AFC?
I want to say yes. I don't want to count out the Texans just yet because they are my Texans. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. They haven't looked too impressive, but I think with Joe Mixon being back, a bad team they played in the Patriots, but they finally showed, okay, when they're balanced, they do well. No Nico Collins either.
They go at Packers this weekend. That's going to be an interesting game.
Especially after they got their butts whooped by my Minnesota Vikings. Not my Minnesota Vikings, but I like to joke. I got to see more from them. But I think it is the Ravens right now. And I know the Chiefs already beat the Ravens, but they have a different look from week 1 because they couldn't figure out how to incorporate Derrick Henry. Now they know how to do it. They're leading the league in points scored. Like usually they're kind of like defense first, run the football, and then Lamar Jackson will save you with some kind of hero moments. But now they feel like an actual offensive scoring juggernaut. Zay Flowers stepped up, but one thing about Zay, like this is where I'm always hesitant. If Zay Flowers does what he did last week on a consistent basis, it could be scary. You got Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. The offensive line woes finally picked up. And I'll say this, I feel like I was wrong about those Ravens. I was worried about no Mike McDonald, offensive line not doing too well, but they seem to figure it out. But I'm kind of with you, Fernando. You've seen the movie Lamar Jackson in the playoffs before. Until you kind of get over that, it's hard to buy into them. But they have a different look. They have a high-scoring look. And after outpacing the Bengals, putting up points last week, they seem to be, a very good team there. That Commanders game, it felt like there was different levels to it. Like, yeah, the Commanders are nice. They're a year ahead, but they're not in the big boy league yet. And that's where the Ravens are right now. So, the Ravens defense needs to do better. I think they did a good job of taking away the deep ball from Jaden Daniels. They took away the running game from Jaden Daniels. So it was a good defensive performance, but against the Chiefs, can you pull that off? Against Andrew Reid and his coaching staff, maybe not. So it still feels like the Chiefs are number 1. Then the Ravens and the Texans are, I think, maybe tied for that number 2 spot. But I kind of like this high-scoring Ravens team. But can your defense do enough when it really matters?
And it's not even that, Gilbert. It's can you not get away from your game plan? In that first game against the Chiefs this season, they stopped going to Derrick Henry at some point. I'm like, why? Like Derrick
Yeah.
Henry in the fourth quarter, when he tires out a defense, and in the fourth quarter, that's when he takes over. And it sucks that the Commanders lost Jonathan Allen for the rest of the year, because that's a big loss for
Oh, is that came out
them.
today?
Yeah. He's out for I think a torn pec. So, but going back to the Ravens, they just they're a good football team. The only thing is can they continue going? And what do they have next? They have let's see, they have at Buccaneers. Oh, next Monday night, wait, they're on a bye week. So
A bye week, and then after that, that's pretty good. That's a good matchup.
wait. The 21st, is it? So are the is it a double header on Monday Night Football?
Is it really the 21st?
Because that's what it says here, the 21st.
Hold up, I got the week 7 schedule handy here. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh damn, that's actually 2 good games there. Yeah.
So it's a double header.
So the Chargers and Cardinals are going to be at 6 p.m.
The early game.
The
later game?
No, the later one. And then 5:15 is the Ravens Buccaneers. How many damn Monday night doubleheaders? I'm actually not a fan of that, friend. I don't know about you, but I don't like
Yeah,
these.
neither do I.
I kind of want to focus on one game. But
That's
yeah,
weird.
that's actually a good schedule, but we'll see how it goes.
Thank God I didn't decide to go out there.
Starting
later, that means you're not. No, I was gonna go, but then I was like, no, that's a long day. So no. But just they play the Buccaneers. They have some tough at Buccaneers, at Browns. Broncos go there. Well, actually, that's not that bad. So they go at Steelers and then at Chargers back to back. That's going to be tough. And then they go. Oh, it's their bye week is after they play the Bengals at Baltimore, and then they come back for Steelers and Chargers. So that's going to be a tough schedule. But yeah, no, I think the Ravens are going to be fine. I just think can Derrick Henry stay healthy the rest of the way, and can their defense put up points, or can their defense stop teams from putting up points? We saw what happened against the Joe Burrow-led Bengals team that lit them up for a bunch of points.
They should have won that game too.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens moving forward, but I'm still a little hesitant when it comes to Baltimore. I think I would go more with what you said. The Texans are a little bit more of the team that I feel like do have the swagger to go up against the Chiefs, but I still think the Chiefs are going to make a receiver move. I think the Chiefs could potentially get beaten by the 49ers and say we need help, and they decide to go get another receiver or go do something, because now Rashee Rice is gone for the year. They have Hollywood Brown out for the year. So yeah, I could totally see them going and making another move. But
maybe they get a Amari Cooper or Adam Thielen, or there's a bunch of guys out there available. Maybe a Mike Williams from the Jets, or who knows?
Yeah, they totally could. Gilbert, Lions stomp the Cowboys 47-9, but at what price? They lose Aiden Hutchinson to an injury, and it didn't look good. So he had to have emergency surgery, I think, last night. So are the Lions the best team in the NFC after a dominant win in Dallas?
Yeah, and this goes back to the comments from Delbert and Manuel asking about Hutch, and are they going to look like the Rams without AD? It's actually a little funny, but also sad for Hutchinson. But yeah, it does suck. And I'll say this from the positive standpoint: the Lions were never really built defensively. Like it's good that they had Aiden Hutchinson to provide consistent push and consistent pressure at the quarterback, but that secondary wasn't very good. Yeah, the secondary showed promise last week, against the Cowboys, but like you shut down CeeDee Lamb. That's all they really have there. They came out for bye week.
Yeah.
I don't know. The rookie hasn't been really good. Terrion Arnold, Carlton Davis, the third he came in the trade from Tampa Bay, hasn't done much. The linebackers have been so. Dansmore, Jack Campbell has been okay, but not really living up to the first round potential there. But I think they are okay to overcome it, Fernando, because the offense is just so good. I want to say, and I'll tell you about the Vikings here, because there's like this fan blog channel for the Vikings that just keeps highlighting my stories. And yeah, I know I've been crapping on them, but I said, hey, it's not a wild idea to say the Lions were the best team in the NFC. And then they put that on Twitter, and everybody's coming after me like, what are you talking about? What about the Vikings? But in the story, the second sentence that I had there was said, and don't overlook the Minnesota Vikings, who are 5-0 in a bye week. I'm like, how did we just forget that I wrote don't overlook the Minnesota Vikings here? But I get it. People want to hate me for my terrible Vikings take there. But the Lions are not the most complete team in the division. I think even the Bears are more complete than the Lions. I think the Packers are more complete. Obviously, the Vikings are more complete. But this is where I kind of give the Lions a little bit of the edge. One, that experience they got last year, you can't replicate that. You have to go through it and build that grit and have postseason runs and have that experience. Also, in being as a core group for the last 3-4 years, that's things that you don't really think about in the NFL, but that really matters. And then the high scoring offense, man, they could beat you in so many ways. It was nice to see Dave Montgomery get paid because he is the heart and soul of that offense there. Like he's a tone setter for the physical runs, and he's a closer with the physical runs too. So when he's able to remove the chains, that opens it up for Jahmyr Gibbs. You get a balanced attack for Jared Goff. Yes, and the offensive line gets in a rhythm because you're running through all these holes here. So, and then that sounded a little weird when I said they're running through all these holes here. Holes, H-O, sorry. And then the defense too, like they get to rest all the time because they're killing the time in possession. So he's just so very important, but it's just not Montgomery. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, who had a nice touchdown on the flicker there to back to Jared Goff for the touchdown there. So that experience and that physical tenacity, and then having a dominant multiple offensive scheme, that's why I favor them. But we're gonna find out. Who cares about my hot take? We're gonna find out very soon next week when the Lions and the Vikings play each other. We're gonna find out what the Vikings are really about. Like again, I'm wrong. I'm gonna keep saying wrong about the Vikings, but they keep playing from ahead. They keep beating up on all these teams. Okay, now when you're playing the Lions, who could score in different ways, and you won't be playing the game of, hey, we're up 10 points early on. Sam Darnold, what a cushion you have. We're gonna find out very quickly about the division, but. It's an exciting time for the NFC North because I think the Packers are not even that far behind from the Vikings and the Lions. I know Jordan Love has some kind of boneheaded mistakes every now and then, but good defense. They got more takeaways last week against my Cardinals. Those Cardinals, man. And the Bears are kind of taking off a little bit because Caleb Williams playing better. You could take it away from there. But that defense has been pretty solid for over a year now. And if Caleb Williams keeps doing what he's doing, one big difference maker when Keenan Allen's on the field, it tends to open it up for everybody else and make life easier for Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, DeAndre Swift. But it's still, I think it's still the Lions the best team in the NFC. I think the 49ers, that's my last part. 49ers are still a little shaky. They're 3-3, but it was very impressive how they beat up on the Seahawks.
Yeah. No, real quick, I don't know if the Lions are the best. I don't think there is a best team in the NFC yet.
Is it too soon to say?
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting a little bit because I do think that the Vikings have been impressive, but Sam Darnold kind of came back to earth in that game against the Jets in London, but they were able to kind of hold it together. So I'm interested to see what the Vikings do coming off of their bye. The Lions, I just think losing Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a huge loss for them, and I feel like it might be too much to overcome. But I just really I like the Lions, but at the same time, their defense is just what I can't trust. And defense wins championships, and that's why the Chiefs put everything on their defense and they built up their defense and did what they needed to do. That's why the Ravens have built everything around their defense. That's why a lot of teams have built everything around their defense because they know that that's what they need. And the Lions have kind of gone the other way. They have two good running backs. They have some good receivers. They have a good quarterback, average to above average quarterback, and but their defense kind of struggles. So, like you said, Carlton Davis was good when he was down in Tampa, but he hasn't been that good here. And I mean, we'll see what happens with that. On the Bears side, I need to see it against a solid team for me to say, oh yeah, the Bears are pretty good, but they have a last place schedule because they were one of the worst teams last year in the NFL. That's why they ended up with the first overall pick as the Carolina Panthers traded it away to them. But I think Caleb has shown some maturity, but they haven't faced a defensive line like some of the defensive lines that they faced the first early on. But yes, Keenan Allen makes everything easier for Caleb. And I know that Caleb and some of the Bears have come out and said that they want to get Keenan more involved. That's just going to take time. And I feel like one game it was Roma Dunze that went off. DJ Moore has gone off. And now Keenan had 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet had 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're slowly going to grow. But I would just wait a little bit on the Bears just because their last few games have not been all that I don't want to say interesting. Well, they've been against kind of lesser. They go at Commanders. That'll be an interesting game. This next Sun. Oh no, they have a week off. So when they come back from their bye, they go at Commanders, at Cardinals. The Patriots come there, and then the Packers come there, and then the Vikings come there, and then they go to the Lions. So there you go. That 3-game stretch, I'll determine where I think the Bears are after that. Oh, then they go at 49ers and at Vikings, and then the and then the Lions come to Detroit, there to Chicago. There you go. That'll be the determining factor. The back end of their schedule is rough. Holy crap! All right, so there you go. That'll be the determining factor on where I think they are.
Well, that's the thing. That's the beautiful part about the NFC North. Like they're all going to play each other. We're going to find out who's a pretender and who's a real contender because you can't escape that schedule. And then it's weird for now.
Well, the Bears are at the bottom of the division at 4-2.
Yeah, it's wild. But also like there's only been one NFC North game this season when the Vikings beat the Packers. Like that's kind of rare to happen through 6 weeks where there's only been one divisional game. So they're all going to play each other. They're all going to beat each other up. So I kind of feel a little silly talking about this division. We're like they're going to show us who they really are when they play each other. We're going to find out very quickly. But hey, Lions, Vikings next week is going to be a very good game there. But I'm with you, though. If you rank them, I think it'll probably be – I think I know people want to call me a Vikings hater, but I'm going to go off for last year a little bit. Give me the Lions number 1, the Vikings number 2, Packers 3, and then the Bears feel like a little bit of a distant 4th, but they're still a decent team. And then to answer this question here before we head out, has Caleb Williams made it a 2-horse race for Rookie of the Year with Jaden Daniels? I don't think so. He still has ways to go to catch up with Jaden Daniels did in the first 6 weeks. And even when they lost to the Ravens, it wasn't his fault. It kind of just felt like, all right, you're facing a good team. You're not really there yet. You're a young team. Like when the Bears, I guess, who do they play? When they played the Texans this year, it felt like obviously they weren't on that same level, but they lost in ugly fashion. The Commanders didn't lose in ugly fashion. It was more like, okay, cool. We're not on your level, but we're hanging around. So that's probably the difference with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. We're like, one team feels further along because of what Jaden's doing, and Caleb is starting to figure it out, but they're not really there on that level.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So yeah, I'd still have Jaden over Caleb, but I mean, like I said, we'll see. They play each other in a couple of weeks, so we'll see who's.
I think after the bye week, right? After the Bears bye week.
Yeah. So we'll see where they're at that point. But yeah, good stuff today on this Lunes Live, Gilbert. Folks, don't forget. We will be back tomorrow. Combat Compas, Gilbert, or
let's talk about it. Let's see. Let me try to see what we can muster up. But it's been a couple of weeks, so I'm down. Definitely for Compas, right?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. That one we're gonna do. Oh, real quick, Athir did have something. I apologize, Athir. You always keep me on my toes. Gilbert, I'll let you read this because he's said that sometimes when I read it in a different way. But you go ahead. It's for you.
Gilbert, I am not against what you say. It takes time to build it, but some Chargers fans are fraud. They don't believe in my coach and my QB, especially when they're going to have the money next offseason. I don't know if I would say fraud, but maybe people are like me. You could call me a fraud. You want to? They're more hesitant to see what happens. But obviously, maybe you're referring to Greg Roman, and yeah. I was one of those people who was a little more patient with Greg Roman. I'm like, can you wait for the guy to kind of figure it out? So it's okay. Everybody has different takes, and I'm okay with that. And I'll eat it there with the Broncos decision. Oh, man, I got fooled by that 3-game winning streak there. So, yeah, it takes time, and they're looking good at 3-2. And then Uncle Jam, I hate you because I don't want to I feel like when I make my picks on the air, that's when it goes wrong. If I say it quietly, man, nothing happens. But I am picking the New York Jets tonight. I am 9-4. If I don't get this one right, I'm gonna be really, really pissed off, and I'm gonna blame you, Jam. So I don't want to be 9-5. I want to be 10-4. And the only reason why I'm 9-4 right now is because I couldn't pick any upsets, right? Because there was no damn upsets. I'm tired of this. Give me some chaos, and I'm like the Joker from The Dark Knight. Give me some chaos. I don't like the stupid, predictable outcomes here in the NFL.
All right. So yeah, we'll talk about Combat Compas. We'll let you guys know. 4 Compas for sure is happening Wednesday. House of Horns has
Come on, Jorge.
House of Horns has their episode previewing the Raiders game on Wednesday, and then we will have a special guest on Thursday. So make sure you guys tune into that 6:45 p.m. at the halftime. Come on, guys, it's Broncos and Saints. You ain't going to be anything interesting going off of that. By
Spencer
the way,
Rattler, Bo Nix, come on.
Hey, but I was crazy when I said it. the Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave, both of them might not play. So, yeah, they're saying that Shaheed might have a serious knee injury. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of overreacting, remember when everybody was trying to crown the Saints at 2-0? Now they have 4-game losing streak.
I know. And they come to the Chargers next week. So, and possibly no Olave and no Shaheed
Victory.
playing in that game. So that'll be interesting. But all right, thank you guys so much for jumping on again. Again, we will be back tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in. By the way, Dan and Dago has something for Gilberto. So
I hope
make sure you guys tune in.
In 2 weeks. I hope so.
Yeah. So make sure you guys tune into that. Again, thank you guys so much for jumping on. We appreciate you guys. But Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? Vámonos.
Yeah. On that note, ya nos vamos. Pues, vámonos.